So I've been with Freedom Mobile since September 2012, and at that time they were still called Win Mobile at the time. Now, I would say that Freedom has made some improvements over the last 7 years. They have extended their coverage a bit, and even when I first started, they had two zones. They had the Freedom Home, they had their Wind Home zone and their Wind Away zone. Basically, their home zone was the markets where they had the best coverage, where they had the best voice coverage, the best text coverage, as well as the best internet coverage, data coverage. And in those home zones, that's where you got unlimited use of your Freedom Mobile services or your Wind Mobile services. And then if you went outside those areas, they charged you on a pay-per-use basis. So if I remember correctly, I think it was about 15 cents per text. And for voice service, it was about 15 or 20 cents per minute of voice time. However, they have changed that over the years. Now they've got two zones. They've got the Freedom Zone and they've got the Nationwide Zone. The Freedom Zone is the zone, again, where you have the best coverage from them. The Nationwide Zone is in all the other outlying areas. So the Freedom Zone, like the plan I have right now with Freedom Mobile, it gives me, the plan I have gives me 28 gigs of high-speed data a month. And then after I've used up my high-speed data, I get unlimited low-speed data. And I get unlimited Canada and US-wide talking, as well as unlimited global texting. All of that, including taxes, I'm paying $174 a month for my phone plan. So the way that breaks down, I think it's about $100 a month I'm paying for the actual phone plan itself. That gives me 20 gigs of data per month, plus the unlimited Canada and US-wide calling and unlimited global texting. And then I pay an additional $10 a month on top of that $100 to get a bonus extra 3 gigs a month of data. And also, I'm paying $35 a month because the phone that I have right now, it's a Samsung Galaxy Note 9. And I got that on a plan with Freedom Mobile. I think it's called a tab plan, if I remember correctly, where basically I didn't have to put down any money for this phone. I pay $35 a month for it over a 2-year plan, and Freedom Mobile chips in the other $35 a month for the 2 years. Now, to finance a phone through Freedom Mobile or put it on the tab, that has to be through approved credit. So I would say Freedom's coverage has improved over the years, but there is still room for more improvement though. Like, they've extended their Freedom Zones, like, basically, but the thing is, they only have Freedom Zones in 3 provinces still: Ontario, Alberta, and BC. Ontario, pretty much the majority of Southern Ontario, all the major cities in Southern Ontario, like going from west to east, you have Windsor. I'm not sure if Chatham's part of that plan too or not. It might or might not be. I don't believe Sarnia is part of that plan as yet, but the London St. Thomas area is part of that plan. Kitchener-Waterloo is. The Golden Horseshoe, when I say Golden Horseshoe, I'm talking basically from Niagara region right around through the Hamilton and the Greater Toronto and Greater Hamilton areas, right over to the east end of Durham region. I think it goes as far east as Oshawa. I'm not sure if it includes places like Bowmanville, Newcastle as yet. There's also Peterborough. So a good swath of southern Ontario is included. The most heavily populated swath in Alberta is included. So basically Calgary and Edmonton. And I know there's some other I believe there's some other cities in Alberta that are included. I'm not sure if Fort McMurray is included or not. And out in BC, like the Greater Vancouver area, Abbotsford, Victoria is now included, Whistler, and I think they're talking about including Kelowna in the not too distant future. So the technical quality of their service has definitely gotten better, because I remember at first I could talk no problem in a wind zone, and even in the wind zones, like I've had Freedom Mobile for the whole time that I've lived in London, Ontario, and I moved to London, Ontario in September 2012. Even traveling around London, Ontario, I was sometimes getting dropped calls and getting weak signals and all that. My service has improved in London, Ontario, and in other Freedom zones, but there's still room for improvement. Like, forget about using your Freedom phone in an elevator, for example. Even sometimes walking around a shopping mall. Like, there's this mall in one of the two major malls in London, Ontario. It's called White Oaks Mall, which I go to all the time. And walking around the ground level of White Oaks Mall, there's some places where coverage is better than others. But, like, for example, if I go down to Dollarama, which is down the basement of White Oaks Mall, you have to take an elevator or stairs to get down there. Forget about using your Freedom mobile phone down in Dollarama, for example. Even walking around Walmart, coverage is hit and miss. So their coverage has improved, but there's still room for improvement. When it comes to technical quality of their service, in my opinion, I don't think they're up to the same standard that, say, Rogers is. But then again, Freedom Mobile, the benefit with them is that A, their service is cheaper. They'll sell you more for less money. And B, they aren't quite as keen as to lock you into contracts. You can be a prepaid customer or postpaid customer. Postpaid means that you've been credit approved. You're on approved credit with Freedom Mobile. You've been credit approved. You might be financing a phone on a tab plan. So you pay your bill after you've used each month of service. And the prepaid plan basically means that you're paying your bill up front before each month of service. The great thing is that the price for the prepaid and the prices for the postpaid plans are the same. Because I found, like, for example, when I was with TELUS, that their postpaid plans were much better priced than their prepaid plans. Their prepaid plans are an absolute ripoff. Like, everything, when I got my prepaid service through TELUS, everything was what do you call it? Pay as you go. But everything was pay per use. You couldn't get a flat rate plan, if I remember correctly, with TELUS, if you're on pay-as-you-go. Or their flat rate plan might have only been for voice talk from 5 p.m. till 7 a.m. the next morning and weekends. Like, I felt like I was being ripped off by TELUS. Whereas with Freedom Mobile, I don't feel like I'm being ripped off. But the thing is, if you go into other places, like I mentioned, Ontario, BC, and Alberta, yes, you can still use your Freedom Mobile plan in other places. Like I've gone across Canada, I can use it no problem when I'm up in Quebec. I go to Montreal and sometimes go to all the time, and sometimes go to Quebec City. I can use my phone up there no problem. Service is great. But the disadvantage to their nationwide service is, while I was just mentioning to you that I get 28 gigs of high-speed data a month, and then I get unlimited low-speed data. The problem with those nationwide areas is when you go into the nationwide areas with your Freedom phone, you only get 1 gig of high-speed data a month. And then once you've used up that 1 gig, then it goes down to low-speed data. So, yes, Freedom has improved the technical quality of their service. Their phone selection has definitely gotten better as well, too. Their customer service is generally pretty good there. I find their customer service to be better than the customer service that I got from, say, Bell, Rogers, and Telus. Even though, in all fairness to Bell, Rogers, and Telus, most customer service reps I dealt with there were pretty decent. Of course, you got those few that were bad. But Freedom Mobile, I find their customer service to be better. So I just like to see Freedom improve some more on the technical quality of their service. I would like to see them improve their technical quality to the point that you can use your Freedom phone like in the basement of a shopping mall, when walking around even a Walmart store. Improve the service there. If you're in an elevator, be able to use your Freedom phone in an elevator. Be able to use your Freedom phone, like, for example, if you're on the Toronto subway system or on the Montreal subway system. Be able to use your Freedom phone in an underground or basement setting. So, yeah, there is definitely room for improvements, and I look forward to seeing Freedom improve that. And it would be nice if they could make all of Canada a Freedom Zone. Like, basically, anytime I've talked to anyone at Freedom Mobile, they've said that they don't see themselves getting into Quebec anytime soon, because I guess Quebec has very strict phone legislation. Like, their main company up in Quebec is Videotron. And it would be nice if they could get into places like, say, Winnipeg. Get into places like Saskatoon and Regina, make those freedom zones. Get into major places down in eastern Canada, like, for example, Halifax, Moncton, St. John's, Newfoundland, places like those. I would say, even though Freedom Mobile is far from perfect, definitely, but I would say between Freedom, Rogers, Bell, and Telus, that Freedom is my favorite one of those 4 companies to deal with. And Freedom is a growing company. They are the 4th largest cell phone company in Canada. So let's see what happens. Yeah, hopefully Freedom does continue to improve their service, and hopefully they continue to have the best cell phone prices for Canadian cell phone service. Hopefully, hopefully things will only get better from here.